let's talk about the 4 levels of consciousness very quickly. I call them the 4 levels of competency. It may confuse some people, but if you just write them going from bottom up, it'll make a lot of sense to you. And I'll do it with you, okay? So competency number 1 is unconscious incompetence. Unconscious incompetence. Okay, that's at the very bottom of the ladder. There's 4 rungs on this ladder. That's UI. Unconscious incompetence. That's you don't know that you don't know. Okay? I mean, that person's ignorant. I don't even know if they're a fool. They don't know that they don't know. Many times it's not their fault. You want to get out of that blind spot. That is a blind spot because you don't even know that it's a blind spot. That's how blind it is, right? You don't know that you don't know. Okay. Next. Number 2, like for example, if we go back to, we go back to Socrates' time, and he sees a plane flying overhead. He didn't know that that thing was a plane, right? In fact, he probably didn't know that he knew, for sure. So Socrates even, the great Socrates, would have been ignorant, completely ignorant, unconscious incompetence about a plane, a jet flying overhead, when he was in a toga walking up the Parthenon in Athens with his sandals on, okay? Now, that's stage 1, that's at the bottom, that's UI, unconscious incompetence. Stage 2, going up the ladder, going south to north, we have conscious incompetence. That's good. That's where I am most of the time. I'm consciously incompetent. That makes me a student. I'm more a student than a teacher. You know that. Heck, I'm a teacher maybe 2-3 hours from a teleseminar, 7 hours in some cases, 1 hour in other cases, maybe 10 minutes if I'm interviewing. That's when I'm a teacher or a trainer. I'm going to be a teacher or trainer for 3 hours on stage in a few hours. But I'm a student the rest of the time. So most of our time we want to spend in conscious incompetence. We want to get out of unconscious incompetence and get into conscious incompetence, knowing that we're incompetent in something, giving us the possibility of learning, right? That's where hope comes in. See, hope is not knowing that you're going to get from point A to point B. That's not hope. Hope is simply knowing there is a point B. So conscious incompetence is hopeful. Point B doesn't even exist. There is no point A with unconscious incompetence. Are you with me? So conscious incompetence is the beginning of freedom. You know that you don't know. Okay? That's where most of you are. Stage 3. In the context of this call, this is where I am most of the time. Stage 3 is conscious competence, CC, knowing that you know. Now, it's not the highest level. It's not flow, but it's pretty darn close. And this is where I think this is the noblest place to be, because you are sacrificing. You are sacrificing greatness of unconscious competence to teach another fellow human being. That's what I'm doing, because when I'm in unconscious competence and doing a teleseminar, I don't know what I'm doing, and I do a lot better when I don't know what I'm doing. When I used to play squash, or when I work out, I'm in unconscious competence. When I'm driving my car, okay? When I'm trying to persuade someone, I'm typically at an unconscious competent level. Right now, I'm fluctuating between both, okay? But every time I teach and I say, this is what I'm doing, and I'm giving you context to what I'm saying, that's conscious competence. I have to come down a level. Well, in this case, it's level 3. So unconscious incompetence is level 1, then conscious incompetence, okay? Then conscious competence is knowing that you know. Now, be careful here, because this is where you can get cocky and arrogant. And if you get cocky and arrogant enough, you will never get the flow. You will never get, ever, to unconscious competence, which is the 4th level. UC, unconscious competence. That's where you don't know that you know. That's flow. That is ultra, ultra, ultra competent, because it's so natural. Your body just moves. In fact, you don't even have time to think. In fact, isn't thinking mechanical? You just do it intuitively. It just happens. because you have mastered. That is mastery. And you know, many have told me it takes 25,000 hours to master anything. Chess champions are unconsciously competent because they know the moves so many moves ahead, right? A water skier a water skier's not thinking of all the little things unless he's teaching or she's teaching. A skier, same thing, right? A baseball player, the greatest baseball players are unconsciously competent. When that ball is let go from the pitcher's arm, from his hand, okay, or softball, it would be her hand. When that ball leaves the hand, there's not even a couple seconds to think about. You can't be conscious competent. Okay, my left elbow's too big, and my legs are too far apart, and my eyes are fluttering. What's going on? By that time, the ball's gone past you. You're at unconscious competence. You don't know that you know. That's the highest level, okay? Now, as a teacher, you can't be there. That's why most world-class athletes, that's why most geniuses can't teach. They're unwilling to come to conscious competence. I'm willing to come to conscious competence. I enjoy it. I love it. I think it's the most nourishing thing I can possibly do. I was meant to do it, and I think it's my duty. Now, I don't know if it's your duty or not to do it. I don't know if you want to do it or not. But just know those 4 levels of consciousness, in this case, competency, because when you do, you will have a better context of where you're at. In fact, just by knowing those 4, now you no longer are in the unconscious incompetence with this model. You're no longer in the I don't know that I didn't know, right? You may have been there unless you'd heard this before. But now that you know, it's kind of like, hey, you don't know that you know all of it. Or maybe you've heard this so many times you know that you know. Or maybe you didn't know that you knew it because it's so competent for you and you've come back down with me and you're teaching it to yourself again. You see what I'm saying? I'm playing with context, but the content remains the same. There are 4 levels of competency: UI, CI, CC, and UC. Level 1 is unconscious incompetence. Level 2 going up is conscious incompetence. Level 3 is conscious competence. And level 4 is unconscious competence. Hopefully that makes sense to you, and I love teaching that.